Welcome to the Roundhouse podcast with Paul Solentrop of Wichita State University Strategic Communications. Thank you for your time. We have a special guest today, Markis McDuffie. Markis played for Wichita State from 2015 to 2019. He helped the Shockers to 3 NCAA tournaments and the NIT semifinals. Markis earned all-conference honors in both the Missouri Valley and American conferences. He's also a foundational member of the AfterShocks, the WSU alumni team that won the basketball tournament title last summer, and they will be back in Koch Arena in July. Markis is just back from playing professionally in France. He's at his home in New Jersey. And for most of this conversation, Markis is a New York Knicks fan. And you know that if you follow Markis on social media. So Markis, thanks very much for your time. Tell us about your history as a Knicks fan. When did you become a Knicks fan?
Okay. Start off. Hey, what's up, Paul? Good talking to you.
Thanks for giving us some time. We appreciate it.
For sure. Anytime. I got time today. I'm excited. I'm happy. When I started becoming a Knicks fan is actually my father. As a kid, around 7, 8 years old, at my old house, we had the basement. In the basement, that's where dads love to be. To recline and watch TV. Watch sports. And on the other side of the basement, that was my room where I played video games. I dribbled the basketball, played basketball, did whatever with friends, as a kid. And every time I went downstairs, I would watch my dad. He had a big TV. So as soon as you go downstairs, you notice it. And every time I went downstairs, the Knicks will be playing. And I think as a kid, you just gravitate to what you see. So every time I went downstairs, my dad would have the Knicks game on. I'm not knowing how good they are. I'm just watching guys play basketball. And that's one thing about the Knicks, as they weren't the best teams growing up, around when I was growing up in early 2000s, like past when they made the NBA Finals, that 99, they weren't the best, and I didn't know all that. I was a kid, but I seen the excitement. I seen how live the Garden was, and even though they weren't that great, it was still exciting to watch them. And I think as a kid, every time I went downstairs and my dad I sat there and just kept watching them, and they became my favorite team.
Who was your dad's favorite Knick?
My dad's favorite Knick, he's a big Bernard King fan. He has his jersey. He was a big Bernard King fan, but as time go on, him being a fan, he's obviously he go back a little to the older days, I think he was a big Bernard King fan. He even has his jersey. Like, I don't even know if they still sell those jerseys. I don't know how he even got that jersey, but he was a big Bernard King fan. So
that would be a good one. He had a great career, definitely. Yeah. How about yourself? Who is your favorite Knicks player?
It's hard for me because I grew up in two generations. It's like in the beginning, I was a big Jamal Crawford fan. He joined the Knicks in 2004, 2005. That's when I was a little old, starting to grow into a boy. I'm 7 or 8 years old, so I'm kind of understanding a little more. But when I first watched him, he was just super exciting to watch. Just by the way he dribbles the ball. He used to turn the Garden up, and we weren't the best team, but he used to always make it fun to watch them. Stephon Marbury, guys like them, they played early and around 04, 05, around 06, 07, 08. Those around the time I really started to watch basketball more. And those two guys were, my favorites in the beginning. Then it gradually grew to Melo, it grew to Melo when he was there. I'm a huge T-Mac fan, so when he came to the Knicks, he was my favorite guy. T-Mac is my favorite player all time. So when he came to the Knicks for that short stint, he was my favorite player. So I'm a real Knicks fan. So if you want the Knicks, I love you. That's just how I am. So it's hard for me to say, So obviously now it's Jalen Brunson, all these other guys. So it's hard for me to really say one player.
I thought maybe you would say Mikal Bridges because his game and your game seem to have some similarities. Am I right in saying that?
I love Mikal. I told you, if you want the Knicks, I love you. I love Mikal Bridges as well. So, I love all the guys, to be honest. I could say them all if I want to, but, I'm just going off, when I first started watching the Knicks. Because, now, everybody can be a Knicks fan, but I was there when they wasn't, who they are now,
Sure, sure. This Knicks team seems to have really captured people's imagination with its style of basketball. Really fun to watch. What have you
hmm
noticed? Why do you think they're doing so well?
The reason why I think they're doing so well is because of coaching, management, and personnel. I think they build the right guys around Jalen Brunson to succeed. Shout out to Jalen Brunson for taking that pay cut and being able to keep guys that are worthy of helping us win a championship. So I think also Mike Brown, him being the coach now, Tom Thibodeau was a great coach, but he was more of a defensive coach. He kept his guys in very long. But this new coach that we have, he's very offensive minded, and I think we needed that because even though at the end of the day defense wins games, whoever scores the most points wins. And I think the way we playing right now, we're scoring a lot of points. We're moving the ball well. You know, center. We all can play off the ball, and they surrounded him with Jalen Brunson with lengthy guys that can play defense. We got a terrific offensive rebounder in Mitchell Robinson. Landry coming in, shooting the threes he's shooting. Not a lot of teams need that right now, and they don't have it. So, man, I think that's the reason why we're playing well. Shout out to the management, too, for not getting rid of guys, keeping guys, because, it's been a lot of speculation. Oh, this guy should get traded, this guy, and they not hearing all that. We just focusing on us and building and getting better. And I think that's what builds a championship team.
Leon Rose has definitely done a good job building that roster. We'll talk about Landry
Yeah.
Shamet, your former teammate. So the Knicks, they started the playoffs. They were tied 2-2 with Atlanta, and then they won that series. And they swept Philadelphia. They swept Cleveland. Really had a dominant run. When did you start to think, hey, this team is really playing well and capable of winning the East?
I knew, to be honest, I knew since the start of the season, and the reason why I say that is because of the type of players that we have and the way the NBA is going now. I think we just fit that mold into a championship team now. You got your ups and downs and everything like that. But I knew like we were gonna win because even when we were down 2-1 to Atlanta, one of my teammates in France, he played for the Hawks and he was killing me. Like he was killing me. And I said, look, we lost 2 games by 1 point. Like it's not like we got blown out or anything like that. We just gotta make some changes and everything. And once we made that change, we just took off. And and that has a lot to do with coaching, leadership, and just staying composed, and we know, and the thing is, no one gets more heat than the Knicks. People talk bad about us, people hate on us. I don't understand why they hate on us because we ain't done nothing in years. So it's like we don't get the same, talk as everyone else.
So
So
Knicks
I know they
last.
got a. I know they got a. They got a lot more things to prove.
I think the Knicks' last appearance in the finals would have been 1999, and they've definitely
hmm
had some struggles since then. But recently, have really started to pull out of that. They were in the Eastern Conference Finals a year ago. So we mentioned Landry Shamet, who played with you at Wichita State. He is the latest. There's a long line of former Shockers who played for the Knicks: Dave Stallworth, Nate Bowman, Xavier McDaniel, Teray Murray, Ron Baker, Clay Anthony Early, and now Landry, who's just having a fabulous playoff run. How much have you enjoyed watching Landry go on this hot streak?
Ah man, I've enjoyed it so much, man. He don't make me cry because like people don't understand. Landry was the first basketball player that I met on campus. He was my college roommate, So just every time I watch him out there in that court, I remember the first day I met this guy, on campus. He was already there. I came there, coming from New Jersey, and I dapped him. I remember the first day I literally dapped him up and said, "What's up?" We became roommates and we just took off as friends. And what I noticed about Landry is the way he moves. He moves like a pro. Like, he was very professional in everything he done, whether it was school, whether it was practice, everything. Like, he's just one of those guys who, you know, chasing perfection, he's chasing perfection. And I seen that firsthand. I was like, oh yeah, this guy's a pro for sure. No matter how he started off or whatever, I knew he was a pro from the beginning. And that's why, when I'm done playing, I want to get into, recruiting and doing other things, because I can notice someone when I first see them, like first impression. And one thing about Landry, I knew he was a pro. I don't know how his NBA career will go. I don't know if he was going to make the NBA or anything at that point, but I just knew he's going to be special.
He definitely was special, and is really having a special playoff run. He's 21 of 35 from three-point range in 14 playoff games for the Knicks, and he has made 17 of his past 21 three-pointers over
Insane.
6 games.
Insane.
Yeah. I can remember going to pickup games that first summer when you and he were freshmen, and boy, he already stood out at that time. Do you remember playing pickup? Do you remember your first impressions of Landry as a shooter, as a scorer, even at that young age?
Yes, I do remember. But I also remember his work ethic. Like, everything he did was precise. When you training he always trained like a pro since I first met him. So, like, I knew playing against him, like, he no one really knows. Landry was very athletic too. And, like, he's not really showing it now. He's more in his role. But Landry was also very athletic. Like, he can jump out the gym, head at the rim. So just imagine that, including with his shooting. I don't know if he could jump like that now, because he's shooting the heck out the ball now. He don't got to do all that. But Landry was also very athletic, so I've noticed it from the jump. I was my roommate as well, so we would always talk. We would always hang out. He was very independent. He's always done things independently. So when you're an independent person, that means you don't need nobody to really motivate you. He was self-motivated himself, and that's what I really liked about him.
He was a serious young man. I always enjoyed talking to him. His mom, very important to him. I remember that as being a big part of his motivation. He was an enjoyable guy to watch. And you're exactly right. Every once in a while, he'll show off those hops, and he's got some good highlight dunks, even as a guy that maybe you don't think of as a big leaper. Do you have a favorite celebrity who sits courtside at a Knicks game?
Oh, that's very easy. Spike Lee.
Spike.
The real. I'm gonna pick the realest Knicks fan of anyone. And I think it's Spike Lee. Just being there since from back then to now, him supporting. So he went through everything, like, as a celebrity. Went through the bad times, the good times that turned out bad in the end, and the great times there is now. So I respect that. He could have, veered off to another team. He could have did this or that, through all those dumpster fire years. And he didn't. He stayed loyal. And that's kind of the person I am. As many times as I've been, chastised about the Knicks, oh, they trash, they never this or that, I've always stayed loyal. I say, yo, give it time, watch. And I'm the one who said, like, years ago, I told a friend this. I said, in 2025, we going to make the NBA Finals. We did make it. We were close. We were close. Eastern Conference Finals we lost last year. So just to see them make it next year, I was like, yes, I knew it was coming at some point. Now I got to see if we'll win it.
So those celebrities, Spike Lee and Ben Stiller and many others, Michael J. Fox.
For sure. Now, Ben Stiller has always been there. Ever since I was young, I remember Ben Stiller being there, too.
That's a big part of the fame, the mystique of Madison Square Garden, and you would have played there in the 2019 NIT. For people who have not been to Madison Square Garden, describe the arena. What makes it so special?
You want to know what's crazy? I've never been to a Knicks game, but I played in the Garden before that. I didn't watch my first ever Knicks game at the Garden until 2 years ago when they played the Pacers. So for me to be in there without having to play in that Garden without watching the Knicks game in person yet because I was just basketball took over my life, so I never had time. New Jersey Nets was a little easier because I was closer, but playing in that garden at that time, I still can't believe it. Like I'm even though I'm 7 years removed from that, I still can't believe I was playing in that situation. But it was an amazing moment. One thing I noticed was when you were playing in the garden, everything else is dark. Only thing is light on the court. And I noticed that. I was like, wow, that's different. It was an amazing experience just to play in that garden. I'm still mad we lost that game. I remember the start of the game, I came out hot, I fell on my ankle, and it was rough the rest of the game. But I'm still mad we lost that game. But it was a great experience just being in New York. I remember after that game, I was going out with my friends, with all the friends on my team. And, we enjoyed being in New York. Some of these guys come from everywhere. So just them being in New York at the East Coast, me bringing them out, it was a great experience.
And that was a nice, a lot of fun getting to Madison Square Garden. The Shockers won.
I'm not going to lie. It was a lot more fun than playing in the tournament and losing the first round. And people ask, it's better than I think. Making it to the Garden was a lot fun. It was very fun.
Definitely a special place, and
yes,
one at Clemson, one at Indiana on their way to the NIT semifinals there, 2019. So the Knicks, another interesting thing, they seem to unite New York City in a way that other sports teams don't. I guess you have divisions between Yankees fans and Mets fans, or Giants and Jets, but the Knicks seem to be a bigger presence. Am I right? Is that the case, and why is that?
Yes, most definitely. It's that because of the personality that we have here. We're very aggressive, very rowdy, very, it's like when something is going great, we gonna show the most love, and then when something going bad, people gonna bring you down. That's how it is here. I don't like when they bring them down. I think that's the reason why a lot of players refuse to come to the Knicks growing up because of the media, like it's the media capital, Knicks. So like a lot of players don't want to deal with that. But it's like, yo, if you do what these guys are doing right now, the amount of love you're gonna get, the amount of respect, it's all about respect in New York, gaining respect. And once you get that respect, it's like they're gonna show love like no other. And now that New York being such a big city, you got to understand, like, now that we're in the finals, just imagine if we win, Paul. Like, oh my God, like, it's going to be crazy. It's going to be a riot. It's going to be insane, just because of it's being in New York, the amount of, trials and tribulations we've been through, so just to get this monkey off our back to make the finals, now we can possibly win it. Oh man, like I'm in New Jersey right now. I might hear them all the way from here, if we win. So, that the love is real. I've seen it all, and now with social media and everything, you can actually see it on your phone. So it's like I went to a Knicks game 2024. We played. This is I think before Landry got there. We played Indiana Pacers and we beat them in game 5 or 4. And when I went outside, the same way they show love overseas, I think overseas is better when it comes to fans and their involvement and how much they love their team. It reminded me of that when I went to New York after the game. Everybody was outside just celebrating, for like a whole hour until they ready to leave. Like it was insane. And you don't see that a lot, in the States because there's more entertainment here as opposed to overseas where like these fans are very diehard, like, they're very into it. And when I went to New York, it showed me that like, okay, it's very few teams in the league that has fan support like this.
Knicks last won the NBA title in 1973, so there is a lot of pent-up energy and demand. It will be quite the scene, no doubt. Will you try to go to a game? Will you go down and soak up the atmosphere outside the Garden? How will you experience these finals games?
Oh man, I mean, I would try. Them tickets are very expensive. I might gotta
Yes.
text my boy Landry, see if he could get me in there. They talking about $12K for the top spots, the top seat, the all of the highest spots. I said, wait. I said, dang. I said, so I don't know. I might have my boy Landry if he texts me back. I know his phone blowing up right now, but if not, man, I'm gonna just be home supporting with my dad. Just watching the game. Us seeing this, considering everything we've watched over the years, this is a surreal moment. And I'm glad I could be home for it. I came home just in time. It would have sucked if I came home and then they didn't make it, and I just don't have nothing to watch. But now I'm just watching them in the finals is going to be insane. Just to see NBA finals and it's Knicks dribbling the ball up the court is going to be insane to me.
Well, watching it with your dad, that would be another great way to experience it.
Oh man.
Tell us about your season in France.
It was cool. We played in the play-in. We lost in the first playing game, so we didn't make the playoffs. So it was an okay season. I came to the season a little late. I was an injury replacement, so I wasn't really like, it's different when you're injury replacement as the terms to a guy that, was there from the beginning, so I had to, play back and forth. Some games I play, some games I don't, so it was just a year where, I just get back on the court and just crawl before I run. So I'm looking forward to next year right now, looking forward to my next team. And actually right now I'm looking forward to TBT. My sister's getting married this summer, so I have some good things to look forward to. Then I'm focused on this next season, to really get back on my, doing my thing.
Do you know where you will play next season?
No, I haven't decided that yet. Now that the season is over, it's kind of like, just laying low right now. And because, you never know, when you play in this TBT, when you play in the TBT and things like that, you never know what you can pick up. You don't know what teams might be tuning into that. You don't know what teams you may get. So it takes time over the summer, to figure out. I don't sign this early. I usually sign a little later, July, around June, later June, July. So we'll see. Right now I'm just enjoying my summer, and just going from there.
Yes, let's talk about the AfterShocks. The AfterShocks won TBT last year at Coke Arena. Really excited the fans, bigger and bigger crowds, a lot of fun. Take us through the decision to come back and try it again this summer.
It wasn't a simple decision, to be honest with you, Paul. Like, we obviously know, like, great books come to an end, and book stories come to an end, and we felt like us winning that championship like year was a great storybook ending to everything we've been through over the years with the TBT. We brought it to an unbelievable range, and we were kind of on like, oh, okay, I don't mind. We don't mind, just ending it here because like to leave off a championship is the best way to leave, but like, every year they start changing the rules and we feel like they changing the rules because of us, because of what we've done over the years and how we generated so much attention. And I feel like we feel like they trying to veer the attention to other bigger schools, who can hold more people and make more money. Cause everything is about money now. So we kind of on some like, man, if they don't want to, really mess with us for real because we don't, all right, they won, let's get them out the way. Okay, they won, let's focus on another team so they can win. That's how we feel right now. So it came down to a point where it's like we wasn't supposed to host. What happened was it's a best of 3 series now. If you notice, did you notice the rule changes?
Right. Yes. AfterShocks will play a
Yes.
team from University of New Mexico alums in the first.
Yes. So what made us want to go back was we said if we host these 3 games, we'll come back. Because at first they wasn't trying to let us host every game. We would have to go there, then fly to, because we play New Mexico. Right. We would have to fly to New Mexico, then come back. And it's like, yo, we're not about to do all that. We're not about to do all that in the summertime. Like, this is not the season. This is not college basketball. This is summer basketball. And it's like once we got that okay here, like we just won a championship. What we look like, going back and forth, like come on, it's not the NBA playoffs, So we once they told us, okay, we can host these 3 games. Now they're doing every because now they're trying to get money now. So it's like Kentucky's going to host 3 games. This team is going to host 3 games. Kansas, and now we can host 3 games. So once we got that okay, we was like, okay, good. All right, we'll come back now. Now they got the rules. Now you got to have 6 alumni. And 6 alumni now. So now we have to get 2 more alumni because the 4 of us is Connor, Rashard, me, and Trey. So we finding 2 alumni right now. I'm not going to just say that who is going to be yet. And then it sucks that we got to take away some alumni guys that played with us last year and won a championship. We had to dumb it down. So them guys will be there. So, our team is pretty much set. We're going to try it again this year. Who knows what happens after next year, but we're definitely going to try it again. And, man, it's just the love, man. Like, it's hard to say no, but, it's just hard. It's just especially it's really hard, because TBT feels like we're one of the prominent programs in terms of this TBT thing. And, it's hard to say no when we've done so many great things with this.
Rashard Kelly, Connor Frankamp, Trey Wade, and yourself are the four members of the team that are made public. And then, Marcus Keene is back also, correct?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. Take us back to that team last summer. What made that group so special?
Basically, just how I said about the Knicks, like just the personnel, like the type of guys that we had that fit the championship mold. Like I really didn't know what to expect going into last year, but the way Zach started recruiting, it was unbelievable. He did a great job recruiting, because me and Zach have a lot of conversations. That's my brother, going into each summer. And that was one of those summers I'm like, look, Zach, this might be our last one. We got to do it. It's only so many tries we could do, because guys is getting older, guys is not playing. We don't have as many alumni as everybody other teams have still playing, so it gets tougher, and he did his thing. We had 2 guards that can put the ball on the floor. One was very athletic and taller that can finish, Nike Sabande. He will be back. He was very athletic. So we had a great backcourt with Marcus King, who's a big shot maker, who has a lot of experience in TBT, and he's a small guard. So it's hard to guard small guards, especially in TBT, that can shoot the ball. Then you had me, Rashard, Trey, and Leighton, who are 4 guys that can stretch the floor, that can, that can defend multiple positions, that can, defend multiple positions, and that can put the ball on the floor to some degree, not to do too much, just to make a play. And then you had Juice. We call him Juice, James Woodard. Who else? Connor. We had Connor, shot creators, guys that can hit big shots. Like just by the guys I'm naming right now, that's a perfect team right there, that go hand in hand. Then you got the bigs. We had Chavez and Marco Santasilva, 2 guys who's not going to do too much, guys that's going to play their role and not going to do anything outside of their role. And I think with all that put together, we built a championship team, and that's what made us champions. Can I say we was going to win the whole thing from the jump? No. But I felt like once we got to that heart fire game, that's when I knew we could win it, because that's a team that took us out one year, blew us out, and we realized we're not as good as we thought we were. And just to go into that next year and prove it to them, who's beat us last year, and they gave us our handshake. They say, yo, go win it. Like, they say, good job. And once you get that from a team that blew you out the year before, it was like, okay, yeah, like we here. We can definitely win this thing. So I think it took about the third, fourth game, and it also took the fans that too, because you remember in the beginning we ain't have no fans, and the next thing you know, the next 3 games it was over. It was like history.
That was a well put together team. A lot of chemistry, a lot of fun to watch.
Most definitely.
Coach Zach Bush, you mentioned, deserves a lot of credit.
Yes.
Garrett Stutz helped him out. J.R. Simon, that was a good 2-week span of basketball, no doubt. I'm glad to hear Nike Sabande is coming back. He was immensely entertaining.
Most definitely, he's supposed to be coming back. I know a lot of guys are expecting him. A lot of people, a lot of fans, but he's supposed to be coming back, and we definitely gonna try to bring. Even though we got to add 2 more alumni players, we still working on that. We tried our best to keep everybody, but obviously with these rule changes, I think they changed the rules because of us. But that's what it is, and we're gonna try again.
Why has the McDuffie slide become so popular?
Man, because I've been doing it for. Oh man, this has to been about what 4 or 5 years now, and it became popular. See, the reason why, me, I've always been, a guy who loves to dance, love to, entertain. I've been like that since my Wichita State days, and when it gets to a point where it's like, after the game, we always hold the thing, and I didn't never want it to be that team to just walk over and put the thing on there. I wanted the fans to engage into the moment, and I wanted to show my personality, because I feel like if I'm playing TBT, I'm gonna be on TV and stuff like this. Like, you gotta think about it. When we go overseas, we not on national TV like this. So when you get that moment where everybody watching you, from all your friends, family, everybody, I gotta show who I really am, and that's how it started, and your teammates egg you on. Yo, Duff, do this. Come on, Duff. Come on, Duff. Yeah, here, take it. Take the thing. So ever since then, my personality comes out, and I just do that, and I just try to carry it over each year. I can't. It's hard not to do it now, because everybody gonna ask for it. So.
Oh yeah, people would be very upset if they did not get the McDuffie slide.
I got to stick to the plan. I could have done another dance or anything, but I'm like, nah, I got to keep doing this one.
No, the slide is an essential part of the AfterShocks experience. There's no doubt about that.
Now that we won, I'm definitely going to have to do it now.
No question.
Sure.
No question. Markis McDuffie, thank you very much for your time. We will see you in July when the AfterShocks start rolling into town. Enjoy the Knicks in the NBA Finals.
Thank you, Paul. That was amazing. Thank you, man.
Thank you for listening to the Roundhouse podcast, courtesy of Wichita State University Strategic Communications. We encourage you to rate, review, and subscribe wherever you get your podcasts. You can find more Roundhouse content at GoShockers.com.
Pushing it up court, looking ahead, long three, done!